again, just letting the body relax here. Deep full breaths. What I want us to do is take 3 conscious breaths where we're focusing on different areas of the body. So the first one is focusing on how the air feels in and out of the nose. So when you breathe in, feel how the air is a little cooler. And breathe out, long breath, feel how the air is a little warmer. Next breath, focus on the air passing clear into the chest, filling up the lungs as much as possible. Nice and slow still. And the third breath, see how much you can inflate down into the belly. Big, deep belly breath. And notice how present you're able to feel how deep in the body you are just by taking 3 conscious breaths. So much of our time, we're not with our breath at all. We're going from activity to activity and things outside of us. And so turning inward, even just for 3 breaths, makes a huge difference. So our quality that we're searching for today is presence, like with that breath. So with that idea to get us started, let's start to take our initial stretches while we're getting our 2 set up. So stretch the arms all the way to the back wall. Let the shoulders wiggle to the right. Shoulders wiggle to the left. Do that. You got your emails, so yeah. And then right knee into chest. One over here, over there. Let the ankle roll out a few rounds. Extend this leg here up to sky, hamstring stretch. Slightly a little wider. Push down. Let's try that. I'll show you yeah, I can already tell I'm going to bump you up. You guys are tall. Okay, and then with this right leg, take the hip opener. So put the right heel back. Give it slow, deep breaths, returning to presence to that hip. And how that looks for me. It's just push down. But I think that'll work. Almost to try to get your mouth up here because I can look at it. Okay, so come up to the top of the mat, turn the front end. Then you're waving it out so nothing's doubled over. There you go, good job. And face forward with your thumbs. Get about half the fabric with your hands. Then back up under those metal pieces, rise up to tippy toes. Slide it under your glutes to sit it. And then you'll lay back like this. Okay, go ahead and free out this right leg. Nice reach of the leg up to the sky. And drop it all the way down. So if you just got into the hammocks, you're only going to do the first movement and then the hamstring stretch, and then you'll take the second leg, so that way you're not imbalancing yourself. So left knee into the chest. Nice hug, some ankle rolls. So the deep belly breath, helping the quality to slow down. Much more mindful, much more present. Start to extend this leg up to sky, moving into the hamstring. Rub on wherever you can reach, side, calf, or foot. belly breath helps us to return to the present over and over and over. So our first two, go ahead and take the hip opener. The two that just came in, drop this leg, hug the second knee in. Do a couple of ankle rolls for your second time. Hamstring stretch, those that are hugging the knee in. So muscles relaxing no matter where you are. Be conscious, present. Nice inhale. Exhale. Okay, everybody drops your legs back down. Both legs are together. You're reaching your hands past the back of the mat, past the back of the fabric, and then kind of circling the arms to the sides helps to push the fabric under the armpits. So from that positioning, take the hands behind the back of the head. Let the elbows pull out wide as you take just a very gentle arch back. We're not ready, definitely not, for a very deep back bend. This is just a gentle shoulder opener, gentle neck opener. Try to feel the low back muscles just relax into the shape. 3 more breaths. Hands release from the head, open the arms out wide, just a little bit longer, pulling the arms open. That stretches through the pecs, the chest. So huge breath there. Let's inhale, exhale. Lift the head up, grab onto the fabric. We're sitting up, legs stay inside. The arms stretch to the toes. For the first moment, let the knees be super bent. So even kind of slide them a little bit closer to the area. Try to get the forehead to relax on those knees that are nice and deep in. Like to even hug around the thighs, setting up a nice little hug thighs. And what we're going to do over a very slow count of 10 is slowly let the legs straighten back out to the extent that it feels like it's bringing you into a good stretch. Nothing too much, nothing too little. Hugging around the thighs, not letting that hug release. So here's a count of 10. 9, like a snail speed. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and here, wherever you are, just relax. We're pausing. A couple of easy breaths right here. Imagine like the light of a scanner. You're letting that light travel slowly up the body. Feeling the quality of presence. Deep inhale. Relaxed exhale. So here's the arms release. We're straightening the spine up. We're going to kick the feet free off the front. So optional inversion. Those that don't want to go to the inversion, feel free to pause here and just enjoy some nice shoulder and neck stretches, releasing that tension. Those that would like to take the inversion, the arms come behind the fabric. Just slip the thumbs into the fabric to help push the fabric down about where the pant line is. Leaning halfway back, you can slide the hands back up. by the front line. Good. And the last step, wide leg, you tilt all the way backwards. Ankles wrap around the fabric. I'll give you a couple of options here, but you don't have to do anything more than just relax the weight of the spine down if you wish to not. So some options, yes, just wrap the ankles, got one and the other. Good job. So the options are twisting. So one hand walks up to the top of the mat, up to the back of the mat, and then you just relax in that shape. The hips stay where they were. The rest of the spine just gently twist. You're taking this maybe 3 or 4 good conscious breaths. So one side, switch directions. To walk the hands, both of them in the space that you tense behind your head. That would bring the shoulders and the belly into a nice deep stretch. So here I'll note, you don't have to stay upside down as long as anybody else. You're only staying to the degree that your head, your ears, everything like that says that it's still opening in a good way. If you're up, you can clasp hands behind the back. Take the hands to the right hip and then the right ear to the right shoulder. Pause there as long as you wish, eventually switch. Immediately when you pop up, the head needs some time to readjust the blood pressure, and not rushing you out if you're upside down, so enjoy it as long as you wish. But yeah, those that are up, we want to give it some time, so we go into floating child pose. We put the elbows, let the head be heavy forward. Sometimes I'll even rock the head a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. Sitting up, let's take a twist. We'll bunch up the fabric to the front door. Your shoulder that's closer to that back painted wall, that is the arm that stretches to the back wall, or circles around the back right here. Yeah, you had it right. Yeah. So know that you don't have to force anything too deep here. Some people pull as deep as they can. Sometimes, especially at this beginning point of the class, just the quality of relaxing, open. And just the shoulders pulling open. Like an expansive quality of the shoulders rather than punched or compressed. That can be as much good for our body as anything else. More nice inhale. The exhale. And let's gently release, switch sides. Bunch up the fabric, and then again, the shoulder that's close to the back wall, that one that opens, or circles. One more deep present breath, let it flow in, out. Good. Now I want us to grab onto the end of the fabric that points you to me. So this back half of the room, just switch. The rest of us, you guys can stay. So you're bunching up the fabric, pointing to me. Walk the arms straight. This hip that got lifted, that's the leg that's going to swing up and over. We're going to take some nice stretches deeper inside. So first, slide each heel into the fabric and let the legs extend. This is a nice chance to see if we end up in the center of the fabric. So if you didn't, what I want you to do is get your feet in the correct spots, equal on each side, and then grab up high, briefly lift your hips off the fabric, and then re-straighten the legs out. That'll set you in that equal spot. So once you're there, what I want you to do is have arm strength pushing open to each side. The leg strength is going to squeeze the inner thighs together, resisting that pull of the arm strength. And then the legs relax, the legs travel back open because of the arm pressure. So exhale, squeeze the inner thighs together. Inhale, let it open. Take another 5. 4. 3. Feel that arm strength. 2. And 1. Relax back open. Beautiful. So what we're going to do from here, again, making sure that even the toes are inside, those of you that are calling me, bring the feet to be covered and slide the heels in close to the glutes. We're going to be coming up to stand. So heels are close to glutes. Let the knees start to pop out of each side. It's almost like this little laid back squat. Grip up high and then toe squat. The toes swivel underneath you. The knees are popping out of the fabric. Good. The shoulders and head are free. The sliding hands high, come all the way up to stand. Okay. Your shoulders is closer to mirror. Good. Keep the inner thigh space together a little bit. So the shoulder closer to mirror comes behind and then around to grab. Facing mirror. We're going to start heading into the splits from there. This grip on the outside is nice because the armpits just rest. It makes you not go too deep. If you are one that wants a little more though, switch to a tight grip on the inside so you can go as deep as you wish. That one is arm strength based though, so touch. Either way, hamstrings are relaxing open. More breaths. Good. Now kneel on the back knee. Your hips are gonna shimmy backwards until you sit on your back foot. So you have to shimmy past that tight part of the fabric. Good. Sitting on the back foot, the hands slide forward. So I think you ended up sitting beside the foot rather than on the foot. Maybe it just looks like it from the table. Okay, perfect. I was like, now that I relook at it, maybe not. So yeah. So piston pose. So we're reaching our hands to the foot and then just leaning forward. So this one's another hamstring stretch, but it's not nearly as intense. Bend down. Exhale. Let me rise up with the spine. You're going to swivel the foot in, kind of like a pigeon pose. So it's getting to a knee strapped place. Yep. So swivel the foot in. The arms drive through the front, come all the way to hug the behind, clasp the wrists, and then just lean forward to the beard. Breathe it. Feel that hip stretch. The hand clasp is that little safety bar. Let it go the same direction as the other one or the opposite. It should go the opposite. Yeah. Do the comfortable way. Don't break your knees. I can't clasp with that. No. Yeah, kind of like pigeon, just kind of swivel it. Good. This one's essentially our version of Gomukasana in the fabric, so it's cow-based pose. It's a really nice opener because it gets some of those deep stuff right on the outer part of it. So again, use that breath to return this inward. Forward folds are a really good time to check in with your body. more good breath in. Exhale. As the hands release, immediately back inside. Then we're going to head to pigeon pose. So your hands need to grab on each front end of the fabric. Use that grip to help lift this back up to kneeling. Keep this front leg swiveled in like it was because the front knee just has to go forward, the back leg back. So if you stay up like this is a little bit of a back bend. It's more like a pigeon. You can also free out the shoulder that's over your front toes to lean forward, sleeping. What I like about this one is you can have that pressure into the neck like a little neck massage. Deep breath. Nice and inhale, pull in. Exhale. More. So we're restarting from the very beginning. Drop your weight onto your front hip and swivel the legs back up to the wide straddle that we started with. Arms press open. That helps our inner thighs to be in the stretch. Good, now slide your right hand down your right leg. Left hand reaches up to the side and over. Breathe into the side ribs, into the shoulder. And let's rise up to switch. Slide left hand on left leg, right arm. Our inhale. Exhale, rise. Good. So we need to come back up to standing again for the second side. So make sure the toes are in the right spot, just on the ends. And then heels come in close, the knees need to pop out. Come to the toe squat, popping knees out. And grip up high, all the way to stand. Okay, now it's the shoulder that's facing back wall that comes all the way behind, which means you face the hips to the back wall. Either just go directly to splits from there, or if you switch your grip to go with the arm strength version, that's also fine. Look breaths, try to relax the leg more and more open. Imagine that as we're taking stretches, we're also stretching some of the tension out of our body. Some of the stuff that has been clogging our channels this week, all the crazy thoughts, all the crazy things going on. More inhale. Good. Softly lower to the back knee. Shimmy the hips past that tight part of the fabric to sit on the foot. And then piston. Slide forward to reach for that front foot. Stretch. Present breath in and out. Good. Easy rise up. That cow face pose. Swivel the front toes in, like the direction of pigeon pose. And once you've got the knee in place, then the arms circle around the front to clasp wrists behind your back and one of those that it's like the more you relax into the shape, generally the deeper the experience, the opening in the hips. Beautiful inhale. Exhale as soon as the hands to these shoulders come directly inside. Preparing for pigeon, grab onto these ends of the fabric. That grip helps you lift back up to kneeling and continue to slide forward into the pigeon. Good. So remember, king pigeon is staying inside like this, perfectly fine. If you bring out the shoulder closer to the front toes, then that's more of a sleep pigeon. Set up the fabric so that it's nice and soft. Take 2 more conscious breaths. It's like each breath is a chance to scan through the system. And after that second one, again, rock your weight onto that front hip, swivel the legs open to wide straddle. One more time, that arm strength, pressing the inner thighs for the stretch. Inhale and exhale. A beautiful moment to pause here. Bottoms of both feet relax together. This is a cocoon womb shape. So I like to rest my forehead forward or the back of my head backward. Just breathe. Better place to have presence than here in the midst of the cocoon. That's a big transformation. Inhale. Exhale. So your leg is closer to the back wall. You're gonna breathe that foot out so that it can swing up and come next to the other foot. And then you're shifting yourself to lay back. We're going to be preparing for bamboo. Good. So for vampire, you do want the head past the back end of the fabric. And then you don't want a ton extra at the neck. So you need to start spinning some of that down. So step your feet in closer, lift up the hips, and then as you straighten the legs back out, that helps you to shift some of it down. So keep on doing that over and over until you get just enough fabric to be a complete covering, one layer over the shoulders, like a cap. Good. So then once you've got that covering, reach the hands up left and right, grab each side. Feet pike up. The feet are on the inside, pressing out. So with that press, you're able to engage the core and lift upside down. If you're one that's not wanting to invert today, you can always practice the gentle core strengthening. Just bring the foot in the spot and lift it up a little bit and lower back down. It's that gentle strengthening going on. I'm happy to come by and help. Sometimes if it's the first time, it doesn't look like you want to get it again. So your feet are almost next up to the little bit. Oh, that's it. The same rule as the previous inversion. Don't feel like you're needing to invert past the point that your head is still happy. If you ever feel like your shoulders are popping out, then begin to readjust, pull them into the fabric, and then rock back. Work on the floor. Do you want some help? You're looking at me like you're not sure. You were looking at the floor. You can go just hair height up your side. You're love that. You got it exactly. Those that are, so I'm not rushing you out of the inversion. Those that are still in, that's fine. You can have a little bit longer. Those that are coming out, yeah, just relax for some shavasana whenever you're ready. It's kind of a little mini break right here in the middle of class. So with this recovery time, you're just listening to your body as long as it still feels good. For those that that have been out for a little while, your body's already saying, I think I'm ready to move on. At that point, you'll help me, just by sitting up, but I'm not rushing you to that point. So just sit up eventually when your body says, okay, we're back to good. We flipped all the way around again. Be free off your friends. No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna get you out. No worries. Okay. I'll just sit. Just sit up. Okay. So you're grabbing the fabric, and we're just gonna come up to stand. So tilt the feet up for a moment, and then come to stand. Once you're there standing, you'll face forward. Take the fabric out in front of you. Let's do a nice 90-degree angle in the hips. So it's flattening of the spine. Especially the low back. The low back tends to want to round. It's like it's trying to resist it. So even if you have to bend the knees a little bit to get the spine more flat, feel free to do whatever it takes. You can really feel the low back flattening, which is like the sitting bones trying to point further to the back wall. Good. So now from here, right knee comes into the nose. And then kick it straight back behind you, warrior 3. Good. Do 2 more of those, knee to nose. And warrior 3. 1. Good. Now bring that right knee to the right elbow to the side. The elbow can bend. And then as you straighten the right arm forward, the left elbow bends, taking the toes behind you. It's like a Cheerio. Good. Then 2 more of those. So right elbow bent to right knee bent. And then left elbow trying to get to those straight toes. 1 more. Elbow to knee. And toes down. Good. Straighten the leg back out. Land the front foot, the right foot in front of the left foot. And then re-flatten out. Pyramid pose. Option to lift the ball of the front foot if you want the additional calf stretch. If that doesn't feel good in the bones, don't pull it too. Soft bend the knees, roll the spine up. Wiggle the fingers out of the little bit. And I step this right foot back. Okay, back to flat. Left leg back. And knee to nose. 3. Slowly reach back. 2. And 1. Good. Preparing for the Cheerio, left over the left knee. And then right elbow to the foot. 2. And toes. 1. And back. Good. Flatten the leg back out. Step this left foot in front of right, and then pyramid. Option to lift the ball of the foot if you wish. Relax that foot, soften into the knees, roll the side up, feet back together. Grab onto the stack end of the fabric to wave the fabric out in front of you. And we're gonna take some nice leg stretches all the way inside. So right leg takes a full covering inside. Good. So if you're too far behind the plumb line, you can literally see the triangle tilting its whole way toward you. So you want to be pretty much with the head almost up to the plumb line, like an inch or so behind it. So from there, you can feel how it's not a struggle. If you're too far back, like pulling you out of balance. Here, it's like it floats. So from this position, arms inside, as the elbows push out left and right into the fabric, that floats the knee up to you. Just a nice hamstring stretch. You're welcome to sink your weight forward to mirror as much as feels appropriate, right? Now as the spine rises up, leave this left hand inside the fabric. The right arm reaches up to sky and then sit down back behind us. As I push my left arm into the fabric, it takes the toes to point up to that top left corner of that, and that brings it into a nice IT band stretch for that person. Good. So unwinding from the twist. Now both hands are going to go on this left tap. The right hand is up high, the left is at the heart, and then turn your stand toes to the left. The back wall, the back door. Good. So from there, start to bend at the waist. You're letting the fabric slide through the hands. You can either pause at the halfway point, or maybe continue to slide down and drop left hand to the floor. Option to sink some more weight to the mirror. If the hand's on the floor, you would bump that left hand forward another foot. More deep present breath in. Out. You went forward to mirror it all. Bring your weight back over the standing leg. Both hands come on. And I'll usually give myself a little bend to the knee like a spring to help me pop back up. Facing back forward. This next one, you do want the fabric covered up to your glute. Slide all the way past the glute. Just like before, the knee bends in that pigeon pose section. Both arms dive through the center. With the elbows then to each side, we're locked in. We can't go anywhere sliding back. So from here, your toes on the ground, slide them as far back as you can reach, but then come onto the ball of the foot and push forward. So it gives a little toe stretch. Pressing forward just to that point. Good. You can stay here or take a quad stretch. So left hand to left knee. Slide up to the ankle. If the leg is not in a quad stretch, let the knee trace backward a bit. Yeah, you can come back in and readjust. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no worries at all. And then option to stay here or take a lotus pose. So that would be release and then re-grab that left foot in front. It could be low lotus if the knee needs this. It could be the heel stacked on top of the shin. Or sometimes if there's friction, enough that it'll stay, you can bring the hands to the heart. Nice kind of floating knee lotus. Usually I like to bring both feet into a nice flexed position, so that way the ankles are not in a stiff place. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And we're going to wrap up with another pigeon pose. So this left foot works its way back to a long angle behind us. If leaning forward, you're in that hip stretch already, great. If you need a little bit more, you'll grab the fabric and start to work it down closer to the knee. From there, you're able to kind of drop the pelvis down a little bit deeper into that. Nice inhale. Exhale. The foot that's behind us hops right up underneath us. As we rise up, we carefully grab on so we don't fall out. And then when you straighten the leg forward, we're trying to take the foot out in a way that it's just nice and easy. It's not bunched up a bunch. You're just ready to slip the second foot immediately. So first things first, not standing too far behind. Our head is a matter of inches behind the plumb line. Left leg in, elbows and arms on the inside. The elbows are bent, pushing outward. That's what helps to lift the leg up to us. An option to lean forward to mirror just a little bit deeper if you want. Presence with the breath. Next inhale. Exhale. You went forward and all weight is back over standing leg. Torso is upright. Leave the right hand this time. Left arm circles up to the side. Stick to the stick behind us. As that right arm pushes into the fabric, perhaps you're get directly into IT down stretch. And repeat that back. There you go. One more good inhale. Exhale. Or return. Now we're grabbing just under this right half, the left hand that slides up, ready to hit heart. And start to face your toes to the right. Here, bend at the waist. You're welcome to pause halfway down. You're welcome to drop right hand to the floor. If the hand makes it to floor, maybe you hop the hand forward to mirror another foot. More breaths. Like that second exhale, weight is back over standing leg. Both hands come to fabric, a slight bend in the knee like a spring to help pop us up. Face forward. This is the one cover up to glute. Bend the knee like a pigeon pose. With the knees bent, bend or dive the arms through the center. Bending the elbows, it locks it in. Good. So toe stretch, slide the foot back, and then push forward. Exhale. Stay here or quad stretch. Moving right hand to right ankle behind back. Ankles back a little bit. You can already start to just flex the foot, then take the sickling action. Inhale, exhale. Okay, optional lotus. Always remember if the knees or the ankles are not happy, you can just keep the grip low. That's always fine. Sliding higher is only if everything's okay and happy. Think of it kind of like the butterfly coming out of the cocoon. How are we letting ourselves be transformed by presence? 2 more breaths. And pose, the leg straightens out behind us. If you need a little bit more, slide the fabric any amount down to the knee again. Inhale, exhale, walk the foot right up underneath you, shoulders basically come out, the leg comes out, and let's bring the fabric behind us, just a couple of bonus gifts to our body. So coming to the back of the mat, we're standing, so basically the slack is taken out. Right arm is going to cross, and then the left arm makes the X. So you rise up away from the leaning into the fabric, so standing back up. Start to lean forward. Don't let the fabric slip past the shoulder blades, but instead by leaning forward, it's like the left hand goes further to the right, the right hand further to the left. It's that nice spaciousness in between the shoulder blades. One more breath there. Back to free up the arms. Good. And circling back up. Second side, this time it's the left one first and then right. Stand up. Leaning slightly forward, send each arm to each side. Exhale, free up the arms, slip the fabric down just a little bit further, and then we're walking ourselves like a chair position, right up underneath the plumb line. Really to focus on relaxing the core entirely so the spine can just drop down. Give the muscles on the back a really good gift here. Like a hip opener, you can take right ankle to left side. Just let that knee relax really open. Good. Take this right ankle up, switch to the left. Back to the center, let the weight drop again. Slowly straighten the legs, walk back to stand. Time flew so fast today, it's already Shavasana time. So know that if you'd like to just lay on the floor today, that's fine. If you want to go for the floating Shavasana, come back up to the top of the mat, wave it out. Come inside, A bonus option, just like we practiced with that cocoon, that womb shape inside, if you'd like to swing the leg in like we practiced before to get into that shape, that's also fine. So optional Shavasana variations, 3 options. Choose one that feels best today. I'll have a couple of minutes just to relax, just to breathe. So all you have to do for the last couple of minutes is just find presence. Inhales, exhales. Repeat it. Inhales The exhales. Some movements back to pose. Pulse and wrists. Stretch out in ways that feel really good. And so I'll stretch the arms to the back wall, let the shoulders wiggle out left and right. So I'll keep the body long, but I roll my weight onto one hip tucks on top of the other hip. And from that fetal position, I'll curl in like a tight ball. And then I'll flatten back out to arch back. So almost like an exaggerated cat cow, going 2 or 3 times on this side. Eventually switching 2 or 3 times on the other side. When you're back balance, let yourself start to kick the feet free off the front, up to a seated place. Together in front of heart. Returning back to this moment, this breath, this idea that we started with, the idea of presence. This moment only happens once. It really is a gift, and sometimes we take it for granted because a moment passes one right after the other after the other. But this moment is so special. So the more present we can be with our body, our breath, our experience, and how things feel, how the senses can bring us pleasure, like eating chocolate, things like that. The more present we are, the more we actually live this beautiful life that we're given. So with this idea to lead us on, let's wrap up the time share together with the sound of oh. May be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.